Well, howdy ho, Stampers! Welcome back to my studio. This is Deb Valder, and today I'm going to show you another card using the stamp set called Painted Petals. It's found on page 19 of the 2015 Occasions catalog, and it is gorgeous. There's 13 stamps in there, and it comes in 3 different styles, so it's totally up to you. I love it because of the variegation in it. It looks like there's 2-step stamping, but you don't even have to do the 2-step stamping. It's already done for you. It's an absolutely gorgeous stamp set. This stamp is done with Crisp Cantaloupe and Mossy Meadow. And I want to just tell you that these are the in colors that are going away this year. So I want you, this is February, I want you to start thinking of getting all of your supplies so that you don't run out. I want you to get your re-inkers for all of those in colors, and all of your paper, anything that you want to stock up on so that you have it so you can actually use it. Now, the thing that I'm going to focus on besides the 2-step stamping today is this lovely paper right here. It's in the, it's actually a free item that you can get from Celebration, which is only good until March 31st in 2015. It's found on page 15, and it is beautiful paper. It's so funny because you can't see it. This is what it looks like before you do anything with it. But there's a couple of different things that you can do to make it colored, okay? So let me just show you. This will start with the actual stamping first, and then I'll get on to how we're going to embellish it with this lovely, lovely paper. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our cardstock, and I'll put all the measurements on my blog because I don't know them right off the top of my head. I'll put all of those there for you. I'm going to start with the leaves. Now that's a preference that you can you know, decide to do. But one of the things I want you to be aware of is on my blocks, each block has a little smiley face, and I always put that next to the size of the block. You'll see why. So when I say heads up, I mean the block with the smiley face is going to be heads up. That is the way I'm stamping, okay? Heads up. So I'm going to ink this up with my Mossy Meadow. And you'll notice in my stamp pads, I always write the name. And on the back, we've got some extra of the little tags. What I do is just cut off the little tag and put it over here. So at a moment's glance, I can always tell that this is Mossy Meadow. So if I have 3 greens out here, I'm not going to get them mixed up because the color looks exactly the same. And I don't have to lift it up and turn it over and figure out what color it is by the name on the back. Oh, it's not even on the back. Okay, it's on the side. Okay, so, and then I take the extra one and I put it over here. So the real one is on this side, and then, so no matter what way I'm looking at it, upside down, right side up, or sideways, I can tell what color's in there. Okay, a little too much information, but wanted you to know that. All right, so here is my block. Remember, heads up. So here's my piece of paper, and what I'm going to do is with this stamp set, you literally just want to touch it. You don't want to mush it down, which a lot of people really like to do when they're stamping. They like to stamp really hard. But with this one, you're going to end up getting some ink where you just don't want it. All right. So you notice I just tapped it. I did not push it down. I'm just literally letting it go down and then lifting it up. All right. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to align it on my paper. But just remember that my head is kind of facing up. All right. So here is my first stamp. And those are my leaves. So let's put away our Mossy Meadow ink. And the next color I'm going to bring in is my Crisp Cantaloupe and my flowers. Okay? So remember I told you that the heads are up. So I have one on this one also with the D block. And my heads are going to be up like that. Now, when I stamped, I do use my Stamp-A-Majig, and if you're not familiar with this, what I did was I laid down heads up, okay, heads up. This is good on your Stamp-A-Majig also to put some kind of little sticker or whatever to show you the right side and the wrong side. The right side is the side that has texture to it. The wrong side is the side that's very smooth, okay? So I've got my heads up, I've got my heads up. So it's heads up to heads up, and that way there, anybody using this knows that this is the way that I stamped it. That's very important, because if I did it this way, okay, it's not going to stamp the right way onto my card. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to put heads up to heads up. I'm going to take and ink this up in a different color that I would be using, and I'm just going to lay it down just like this. This piece right here goes right into the L square right here. Okay, nice and smooth. I'm going to ink it up in a different color than what I'm going to stamp in, and then I'm going to lay it down. So this time I did it in the Mossy Meadow because I'm actually going to stamp it in the Crisp Cantaloupe. Clean this off very, very good before we put it into our Crisp Cantaloupe. All right? So now this is what we're going to do. Remember I told you heads up to heads up? Well, this is what, it takes a lot less time to figure out where this is all going to go. On this particular stamp, what I look for is this, let me just show you on the block, this flower and this flower. If you can line up these two flowers, you're good to go with the rest of them. So, this flower right here always goes in this one that is hanging off all by itself. And this flower always goes in between these two pieces right here. So what I'm going to do, remember, heads up to heads up. He doesn't have to be straight as long as he's looking pretty straight up. And you notice I said he. I'm not sure why, but I did. Okay, so here we are, heads up to heads up, and I'm just lining these little flowers up just like this. Okay? Now, remember, heads up. This is heads up. I'm going to line up my L square just like that. All right, this is right here in the corner. Very important to remove this, because if you don't remove this, you're going to stamp on the plastic and it's never going to get onto your card. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Crisp Cantaloupe ink. I'm going to take heads up. I'm going to take an ink up very lightly. I'm going to ink up my stamp. And remember, heads up, and now we're just going to slide it right down. And when I'm done, hopefully, they will line up perfectly. Ta-da! Do you see how we've got all the little variegations and how gorgeous it is? And look how it lines up. Absolutely perfect. So now what I'm going to do is put all of this stuff aside. So you got a quick lesson on how to use the Stamp-A-Majig. And let's bring our card in so we know what we're going to do next. I'm going to take and use my, nope, I don't have it with me. Oh, yes, I do, right here. Okay, again, I'm at the end of this Crisp Cantaloupe ribbon, and I don't know if you saw my last video, but what I do is I save these little tubes, and any of these things that need to be, shaken up or kind of go to the bottom, I use these tubes as containers to hold them in so that the good stuff starts at the tip, not at the bottom. So if you just keep these tubes when they're all done, you're going to have a great little device. All right. So now what I need to do is I need to make a little bow out of my Crisp Cantaloupe baker's twine, and this is the extra thick baker's twine. And remember what I said at the beginning of my post, you want to stock up on all these in colors, because come the end of this catalog, which is coming faster than you think, all of these things are going to be gone. And you know from years past that this stuff sells out even before the catalog is gone. So I'm telling you now, this is February. I want you to start loading up on your pieces to the in colors, okay? So I've just added my little piece right here. And you'll notice this is darker than that one. That's because this stuff lightens up. It lightens up, and it's a beautiful, beautiful color when it's all done. All right, let's take and put some dimensionals. And I've just got to go grab my dimensionals. Here they are. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my dimensionals and put them on the back so we're ready to post or pop this on there when it's time. Okay, so there's that one and one more. I'm actually going to take them off so I'm just really ready to go. Okay, and like I said, all the dimensions for the sizes of these, like this is a square piece right here, but all the sizes will be on my blog. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this because I want to make sure that I have all the right room for these things. So I'm just going to take my my layer right here and put some dimensionals on that also. And so, whoops, before I do that, I have to stamp it. Okay, so let's grab the saying set. And this is all part of the stamp set. I love, 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 love this stamp set. Okay, so just ink her up. And I do that before I do anything else because if I made a mistake, I can just switch it over and stamp on the other side. So I've got two chances. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just finish up with my pop dots, so I'm ready with those to go onto my card base. Actually, I can add this to my card base now. All right, so I don't get that attached to anything. All right, so I'm just going to lift these off and attach them to my card base. And we are going to be good to go. All right, here's my card base. All right, stand up and add that to my card. Nice. All right, so there, I'm going to just set that aside along with my my piece right here. Now let's get showing you what this is all about. This is that gorgeous paper. There are 5 different designs. There are, let me just show you. There are polka dots. There are scallops. There are stars. This one right here, which is the flowers, and then one that you can't see is the stripes. And what this is cardstock, and it's already embossed for you. And what we're going to do is just color it to make that pop. So I'm going to get a scrap piece of paper because I don't want to make a mess. I'm going to get a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. Okay, so let's start with our stripes. Our stripes we can do with our spritzer, and I just happen to have a spritzer that I loaded with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, not vodka, rubbing alcohol, and I have rubbing alcohol in here, and I have Island Indigo Reinker. And the amount of drops for Reinker depends on how dark you want it. So what I'm going to do is just take off the top here, and I'm going to make sure that this little spray top is facing in the right direction, because if not, it's going to be all over everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spritz, 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 and you'll see where it kind of resists, where it's not supposed to go. And I'm, oops, see there, that's what I said. If you're not going in the right direction, if you're not looking at it in the right direction, then it will make a terrible mess. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a Kleenex or some kind of paper towel and just blot off the spots that I don't want. And do you see where it adheres to the parts that you want, and the parts that are embossed, it doesn't add to it. So now what I'm going to do, that's done with our spritzers. Really cool technique. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do it with a brayer. So I have my brayer. I have my Mellow Moss ink, or my Mossy Meadow ink, and Mellow Moss is an old color. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up with my brayer. And you don't want to go back and forth like this because there's going to be spots that you miss. You just want to go, I call them pizza, 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 pizza. Okay? And then what you're going to do is just brayer this whole thing like this. Okay? Pizza, pizza, pizza. And you're going to brayer, brayer, brayer. Do you see how gorgeous this is? You can just go all different directions. And then what you're going to do is take your Kleenex again and rub off where the embossed is. Look at the difference between these two. Isn't that gorgeous? And all I did was brayer. It will lighten up just a little bit in the background because that's what we do. It lightens up. And I'm going to show you the way I did this card. So if I can just find my pieces here. Oh, here they are. If I can just take this, I'm going to take my crisp cantaloupe, and I'm going to take my sponge, and I'm going to ink up my sponge and just start burnishing. And I think this is the easiest way to do it because it's less messy. You don't get a lot all over the place, but it's just a different look. It is, I just love to burnish anyway, but you'll see that when you're rubbing it in, the color is absolutely gorgeous. And you can make it as dark or as light as you want, depending on how much you burnish and how many times you re-ink your sponge. So this one right here is all done. Oh, let's go over here just a little bit more. And you see, burnishing is really getting your elbow grease into it. All right, you're just really rubbing it hard. Sponging is when you just dab, 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 dab. But when you burnish, you actually burnish the color into it. It's amazing how, and you guys know that I love to burnish. This one you really don't even need to use a Kleenex, but if you did, you can just kind of shine it up a little bit. And the little flowers will actually be glossy. All right? So there we go. Voila! Okay, so there is our piece right here. And now we're going to put our card together. Here is the card. Whoops. And I attached it to my bottom piece. Silly me. because I put them all over on the same side. Sorry, guys. Okay, so here's that piece, and then here is my base card that we've already done. I'm going to add some fast fuse to this and attach it to my base. And this one is our other piece that was attached to the card accidentally, and just show you how fast and how easy that card was. Isn't that gorgeous? Well, that's my post for today. Hop on over to my blog. I'll give you all the measurements there and some other information. You can actually order from my blog also. So take care. Have a great day. I hope you liked my post.